Welcome to The Explainer. You know, the story of Athens, one of the most influential cities in all of history, isn't just one story, it's actually two. We're going to look at how it was first forged in the fires of myth by a legendary hero, and then, centuries later, rescued from total collapse by a truly brilliant lawgiver.
Right, so when you see the Acropolis, what do you think of? Democracy, philosophy, all that good stuff, right? But long before any of that, Athens was really just a bunch of scattered villages. Its story doesn't begin with laws and logic. It begins with myth.
So let's meet founder number one, a hero straight out of legend, the man who they said united all the warring tribes and really forged the city's first identity. Our story kicks off way back in the age of myth. We're talking around 1300 BC. The city's first great founder wasn't some politician or philosopher. Nope. He was a hero in the classic Greek sense of the word. Theseus, the Prince of Athens. I mean, Theseus's life story is the stuff of pure legend. After proving he was the rightful heir, he literally fought his way to Athens and then volunteered for what was basically a suicide mission, to sail to Crete and face the Minotaur. And he did it. He defeated the monster. But then, in a tragic twist, he totally forgot to change his ship's sails from black to white on the way home. His father, the king, saw those black sails, thought his son was dead, and threw himself into the sea in despair. And that's how we got the name for the Aegean Sea. So when Theseus gets back, he doesn't just take the throne, he completely shakes things up. He unites all those separate villages of Attica, and then he does something absolutely radical. He ends the monarchy and declares Athens a democracy. The source material makes this really powerful comparison. For the ancient Athenians, Theseus wasn't just some character from a story. He was their founding father. He was the embodiment of the courage and the civic spirit that they all aspired to. He was their George Washington.
And this brings us to a really important question. Theseus saved Athens from a monster, something external. But centuries later, the city would face a totally different kind of threat, one that came from inside. So let's leave the world of myth behind and jump into the messy reality of history.
Okay, fast forward to the 6th century BC. The heroic age is long gone, and Athens is in serious trouble. It's facing a new enemy, complete internal collapse.
By this point, Athenian society was just dangerously divided. You had a small, super-rich elite who owned almost all the land and held all the political power. And then you had everybody else, the vast majority of people, who were just buried in debt, facing the loss of everything they had. The absolute heart of the problem was this practice of debt slavery. It was a horrible, vicious cycle. Farmers would borrow money from the rich just to survive, using their land or even their own bodies as collateral. When they couldn't pay it back, they and their families could be legally sold into slavery. You had Athenians enslaving other Athenians. The city was literally tearing itself apart, just teetering on the edge of a violent civil war.
So, in this moment of absolute crisis, in the year 594 BC, the city turned to one man for a solution. His name was Solon. He was a respected poet and statesman, and he was given the incredible task of rewriting the rules of Athenian society to save it from itself.
Solon's solution wasn't just some minor fix. It was a radical economic plan designed to give the entire city a complete fresh start. And he gave his program a name that perfectly captured its goal: the shaking off of burdens. The whole idea was to literally lift the crushing weight of debt and servitude from the shoulders of the common people. Solon took 3 immediate, massive steps. First, he canceled all debts, just wiped them clean. Second, he abolished debt slavery for good. And third, he did something clever with agriculture, banning the export of all farm products except for super valuable olive oil. This kept food at home for the people while encouraging a really profitable export. But he didn't just stop with the economy. Solon also completely restructured society into 4 new classes based on wealth, not your family name. Now, only the richest could hold the top government jobs, but even the poorest laborers were now given a voice in the General Assembly. It wasn't perfect equality, but man, it was a revolutionary step towards it. And his economic vision was bigger than just Athens. To boost the city's economy, he offered citizenship to foreign craftsmen if they would move to Athens with their families. This move basically turned Athens into a hub for talent and innovation from all over the Greek world.
But Solon knew that just fixing the money problems wasn't enough. To build a society that would actually last, he had to build it on a solid foundation of law.
So he rolled out a whole new suite of legal and civic reforms. He standardized weights and measures to make trade fairer. He founded a Supreme Court and a new Council of 400 to draft laws. He even made unemployment a crime to encourage everybody to be productive. But maybe his most important act was writing down all the laws and putting them on display publicly, making sure that justice was no longer some secret controlled by the powerful.
Now, after finishing all this work, Solon did something absolutely remarkable, something most leaders would never even dream of doing. He left.
And here's why. He made the Athenians swear an oath to follow his laws for 10 years, and then he just took off. The source says he did this because he didn't want them constantly asking him to interpret or change the rules. He believed that for the laws to truly work, the people had to learn to live by them, debate them, and apply them on their own. He wasn't just building a legal system, he was building a self-reliant citizenry.
And this leaves us with a final thought. Athens was really founded twice. First by Theseus, the hero who gave it unity and an ideal to strive for, and then by Solon, the lawgiver who gave it a real framework for justice and self-governance. It makes you wonder, what is a leader's true legacy? Is it the great deeds they perform, or is it the capacity they build in their people to govern themselves long after that leader is gone?